All right, we're rolling. So, what's up?
That's a cold open.
What is up?
Sure is.
End of the year?
Yes,
Yeah.
2025.
So what was it today? Predictions and more predictions? No.
Predictions and resolutions.
And resolutions.
All right.
Yeah, this is your moment of,
Nostradamusing?
yes.
There we go.
And, what was it, penance?
Where's that whip?
Yearly absolution.
Well, you have, 10 days to leave the country?
Oh gosh.
Not much.
Yeah.
Better start packing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. What's going on next year? Like, Lauren, what's the big one on? What's the big prediction you got for 2026?
The big prediction.
Is this Japan specific? Are we scoping to Japan?
My mind went to Japan specific.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Japan
everything else doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't track here very well. Everything's different.
Well-
It's 3 years ahead. We'll
Yeah.
see it.
Right.
We'll see it soon.
So, according to the internets and according to my own personal LLMs, I think next year you're going to have a lot more push for, I think, clarity on all the investments we've been starting to make across AI and technology. So these last several years, we've just been doing a bunch of testing, if you will, and shit's gonna get real. I think you mentioned it some time ago. Our fellow northern neighbors in Korea, they're coming across a massive cliff,
Mm-hmm.
right? Investment cycles are kind of come to an head. I think Japan is also the same way too,
Yes.
in a very
Yeah.
real way.
Yeah.
So just looking at some of these macro factors, I think we're going to see a continuation of, whether we like it or not, a forced clarity on what we're doing, where we're spending the money, and what are we going to do.
What do you think that's going to look like? Is that like a use case thing? Is that like a piece of tech like that we've created here in Japan, or like?
So I think how that manifests this way is probably through several things. One, there's going to be a reduction in the bunch of POCs we're exploring. So in the past, we've been deploying a whole bunch of various investments, and that all takes time and money, right? And so there's going to be a few winners and starting to be a lot of losers. And the ones who win, especially in Japan, are going to be the ones who can navigate all the enterprise hurdles.
So like in terms of like time frame, like this feels pretty fast for this kind of like boom and crunch, right?
It does, yeah.
I mean, like.
So what I'm saying is it's fast because it's externally driven.
Yeah.
So I have clients, let's just say clients, that are forced by global factors, and they are being mandated to say 10x their revenue, but they're still moving in the same corporate mentality of, we'll spend 2 quarters to research this, another quarter to namawashi this, and then we'll kind of figure something out in Q4. They haven't said it out loud, but that's where it's going to go.
So do you think this is going to like net like cripple or benefit the sort of exploration of like innovative and disruptive uses of AI? Because it feels like if it is so externally driven, right? Before people really get to something, like a tangible product use case fit thing, it's just like shot in the leg. It's like, hey, we got to pick one thing now.
It's hard to say. There's so much politics happening right now.
Right.
I mean, I've been feeling it even within a giant Japanese corporation, and we've gone through massive shocks on that front. But I think the 3 letters ROI is coming to ring very, very true.
Yeah. The sense I have is like 2026 does feel very much like some sort of turning point from like the last couple of years. It's like, a lot of the capital that's been deployed over the last couple of years was all raised in like in 2021, 2022. I think in most venture markets around the world where there's like 0% interest rates, right? And and like a lot of excitement around like DX, like digital transformation and all this other stuff, and that flowed directly into AI in the intervening years. And I think everybody was like, spending the last couple of years honestly kind of recovering from COVID. For me personally, at least, I will say like this feels like the first genuine like post-COVID year, right? And like there's like the post-COVID hangover of like 23, 24. And this feels like the first like normal-ish year. I mean, it's been anything but normal in a lot of ways, right? And next year it feels like there's like some sort of new narrative brewing of some sort in a lot of these places.
Yeah, I'd buy that. I don't. It's still really nebulous, though.
Sure.
I don't think there's space for a narrative. I don't think that there's any kind of direction really taking place that, or it's what do you call that? Like it's like a zygote. Like it's still very much premature.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, at least locally, we haven't quite figured out what the next angle is. And the reason why I bring up like the capital raise in 2021 is that's like a lot of it has been deployed in the last 3 years. And so like, now the dry powder's gone, what's next? And I think statistically we've seen, I think just across the region, it's already happened in Southeast Asia where the amount of VC has collapsed by like 80%. Yeah. And like people there are like, oh, like is there something here? Is there not something here? Yeah, like the stalwart like ecosystem supporters and investors like still holding stuff up and like being like, we're trying to like get people through this and like find the next thing. I think that's gonna hit Japan like probably like next year.
Weren't we talking about that in our chat just recently? I think it was this morning as well. I saw an article that also brought it up about like narrative or storytellers, was it?
Yeah, yeah.
Is like the next like big position to be in.
Yep.
Sort of thing. So yeah, actually, now that we're talking about it directly, like there's something to be developed.
I mean, just this whole discussion feels like the cart before the horse, right?
Sure.
Where it's like capital investments that's driving, whatever phase we're trying to go to next versus like the actual culture and people and
that's
the
so
meta.
true.
And you can't create a product for a world that isn't ready for it yet, right? And it's like it's no matter how hard you try, it's not going to work.
Yep. And I think that's been a conversation that a lot of people across the region in Asia have been talking about, which is like a lot of people have wanted venture and innovation and startups to be a thing here. And so like the governments of the region have gotten very involved in this. And in some cases become like significant LPs and VC funds, right? And because like, and then, there are some issues there where the question is like, can you force this to become a thing? I think for sure the government's been net positive in terms of like agenda setting and in terms of like legitimizing the existence of these startups and whatnot in these societies, right? I think at least in Japan, right, it's like much more normal to work at a startup compared to like 10, 15 years ago. In a lot of or it's like a part of the public consciousness, right?
If you told someone, like if you use the word startup or a venture company, people actually know what you're talking about now.
Yes.
Whereas 10 years ago, they're like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, at the same time, though, I would say, like, it's been normalized to work at something that is called a startup.
Sure.
But in reality, may not actually be a startup.
Sure. For sure. Right, and I think we're all kind of navigating that right now collectively around the semantics. I mean, I am personally a believer that, like, venture and startups in different countries are, like, discretely different asset classes compared to how they're popularly understood in the U.S. Right?
Yeah,
almost like everything about the companies are different, other than the fact that they like make software.
Purportedly.
Yeah, purportedly, right? In a lot of cases.
I mean, that's a really interesting question or proposition, right? Because I think it's a different asset class, but also the sort of the theory of change is also different, right?
Yes.
Like so much of what we talk about here, it's so like institutional heavy, or corporate heavy, right? And if in the U.S. it's like, if you think, okay, who's going to drive change? A big corp? It's like no, right?
No, of course not.
Mavericks,
right?
Yeah.
Right. And why is the theory of change here that it's like it's going to change from the center, not the edge?
Yes.
Yes. And it's like, is it because it doesn't work, or is it just because of that's the narrative that we have because that's where the structure of this third asset class.
Sure.
And it's that's something I always find like really weird or fascinating because you shared that program. Yeah. And it just whatever, right? This stuff that's sort of like for me feels very like World Bank adjacent, right? Mm-hmm. And you gather a bunch of change makers from the center of an institution.
Yep.
And you kind of money, but it's okay, man. Like this, like traditionally, from my experience, these aren't change makers.
Sure.
You know,
Like
Yep.
definitionally.
Like
Right.
definitionally, it's a different kind of like status climbing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been hanging out at a few of the bigger accelerators and whatnot, and just get this weird like fun house sort of feeling about it. And I mean, everybody's got their laptops open. A few people are coding,
Sure.
but most
Yeah.
of what I just walk past is like, wait a minute, what are you? You're just using not to be stereotypical, but like there's a lot of Excel
Yeah.
Sure.
at these things, and so I just like I don't know what I'm looking at.
Sure.
Right? It's
Yeah,
not to
yeah,
say
yeah,
that
yeah.
if your business is very heavily Excel, like
Yeah.
personally and professionally, I can't recommend that. But like if that's what you're gonna do, okay, whatever. That's what you're gonna do. Just call a spade a spade,
Sure. Yeah.
kind of thing.
So, I mean, part of this is also just, I think, to your point earlier, there's just been a lot of focus on where the money's at, which is
Yeah.
large corp,
Yep.
right? Japan Inc.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think there has been an underservicing towards the lower mid markets. There, you do have like the freeze, the money forwards, but it's relatively limited.
Sure. I mean, if the classic diffusion of innovation thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, okay, where you want to place your bets are things where the companies where the market isn't really there for them yet, but you see it coming, right? And things don't really make sense, right? They're kind of like long tail, the edge of that stuff, right? But like, who? I guess no one's really taking those bets in Japan, right?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
I
yet.
mean, I think that's why we're here.
Right.
Hopefully, trying to find these arbitrage opportunities, whether it's in food and beverage, entertainment, whatever. Right.
Well, I mean, there's one major org that I'm working with in a manner of speaking that even this morning I've been pitching them for the last few months, but finally coming over to basically completely non-traditional. I mean, they're going after big Tokyo companies like any other tech company does, and they're a major actor, and finally they're starting to and it's not like they have to throw out their current model. It's just adding to it of, wow, you go after those whales, keep doing that, that's cool.
Yeah.
But here's this fucking easy win over here that's just like passive income kind of shit.
Like paint sauce.
Like paint sauce.
I feel that there's two things here that I feel like sort of should connect that if they did would really, I feel like, accelerate things. One are going after these easy wins, but two, in terms of like we were talking about storytelling earlier, like being able to have like this larger narrative of like what the hell we're doing, that more than just making money.
Yeah.
Because everything's just about making, because I feel a lot of narrative about the Japanese unicorns is how to be a unicorn, right? Whatever, just have enough of a
critical mass.
critical mass, but money can't create a unicorn, right? You need like a mission. Like, what are you trying to achieve? That's like world
So
changing.
you need the why.
You need the why to get people together and like why are you trying to push this into the world, right?
Are you actually defending the need for a narrative? Because I understand it's outdated. We take it for granted in the States, but you go to any corporate out there, and I swear to you, no one really has a clear definition of their narrative.
Sure.
And we point to our friends at Value Create, and they are in the business of creating narratives for public Japanese companies.
I think there's narratives, but I think that there's another slice that's more like meaning and like a big enough dream. So Lauren and I caught up with an ex NBA classmate, and she's starting a new venture and raising money, and we're like, it's super cool. What's it about, right? She's like, I'm trying to hit the Mars launch window in 2029.
29, yeah.
Oh.
It's like, God damn, that's a big dream.
She is ex-SpaceX, ex-Blue Origin.
Wow.
But
Okay.
Oh,
but
wow,
still,
that's a
you
pedigree.
drop a mission like that, and you go,
Yeah.
okay, how can I join you?
Yeah.
Right? But like,
Go to Mars.
Yes.
like what can you do? Like what in Japan context? What's a big enough dream more than just make some money?
I run across it all the time.
Nagayama.
It's fucking rural revitalization is the fucking thing that always pops up.
Sure.
That's the unicorn of Japan. Like
Sure.
the company that can do something at scale that positively affects
Yeah.
the rurality.
So I would.
So I mean, my sense is like talking to large swaths of Japanese startups, right? There has been a prime motivator, which is basically make Japan great again, and like that. I think a lot of people, especially including young people, like really get behind.
Yeah.
I think the broader question, I think also looking in the future is like if we're in some sort of time of change again, the sense I have is like, has Japan had a crisis of meaning over the last 30 years since the bubble?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And the guy's like, is that even a question, right?
No.
I'm trying not like to make a question,
there
not a
has been no
statement, right?
counter debate to the lost decade. It's just a singular narrative.
Exactly, and that's why they're like Ushinawa Sanjin, like the last 30 years, there are 3 decades. But it's like, in reality, each decade has been very different. Actually, if you look at them statistically, if you look at them narratively, you look at them culturally, Japan has changed a lot since 1990. But it is interesting to see like the continued narrative be, we have continued to lose these years, right?
I would be interested in doing like a media analysis with that in mind, because the like mid 2000s, basically the 2000s for me was like, oh, there's actually some like really good indie comedies
Totally.
that were coming out like in theaters and straight to DVD then. And then the 2010s, I want to say, is when like there's like the Attack on Titan or whatever, and it was like a big anime.
Yeah, no, there's the huge mainstreaming of Japanese soft power and like IP content globally during the past decade.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the comedies didn't stick around. They're gone. There is no.
Sure.
So like I just got back from Taipei and Bangkok, right?
Sure.
And like 2 things that really stuck out to me. One was like how youth friendly those 2 cities were.
Mm-hmm.
Like the cities, they were geared towards supporting young people in youth culture.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas Japan, because of the inverted pyramid thing, and everyone's seeing the money in it, everyone's chasing old people.
Yeah.
But no one's building stuff for young people, right? And because of that, it's like, where's the energy, right? Like we should be focusing on, even if it's a small group, that's what's going to be the future and what drives stuff, right? And the second bit was seeing how much better Bangkok. I was at Art Book Fair. How much better like the rest of Asia is doing Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So so much anime is produced in Indonesia, right? So I bet these Indonesian creative teams who are doing Japanese stuff way better than Japan, right?
Yep.
And
Same with China. Can't say it, but
Korea.
And Korea.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, oh my god, right? So basically, this soft culture that Japan's exporting is getting hijacked and flipped back, and it's gonna be re-exported here, right? I saw these people doing what's it like the spicy fried chicken sandwich thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But with like mentaiko, it's like let's just because the way Japan does it is, hey, let's take a Japanese thing and add some internationalist to it, right?
Yeah.
Like let's do like bacon on takoyaki, whatever.
Yeah.
But the way like the rest of Asia is doing is, here's this thing that's really hot, like a chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
How do we put a little bit of Japanese in there to make it like relevant to our like?
Yep.
And it's like, fuck man, you guys have totally flipped the script on how to do Japanese stuff.
Yep.
And it's sexy, it's attractive.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, Japan can't compete on Japaneseness with you guys.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, so like,
and it's like these are like bitter pills that like I think there's very little of an audience domestically in Japan to hear that, but I think a lot of it is true, right? Like you look at some of the most fanatic fans of anime, and they're like Chinese.
Yeah.
And you look at some of the Chinese studios, and you
Right.
look at these interviews, and most of them only take interviews in like Chinese, right?
Right.
But and look them up on YouTube, and these people are like so like passionate and like so much into the craft and the details and all of the, and as a result, a lot of stuff that they create is actually like quite good as a result.
completely.
Yeah.
Completely. And I was just shocked. You go to Art Book Fair and you see this is like the kind of the edge of indie art culture creation, right?
Yeah.
And you see like I recognize all this stuff. I recognize the roots of it, and I can see like how commercially attractive this stuff is going to be, because it's everything that you love, but like more youth oriented, edgier, and like everything is just like has like hot sauce on it, right?
Yeah.
It's giving everyone that extra bit,
Yep.
and it's like okay, like man,
What's arguably it's like anime is the biggest winner, but that's not a new product, right?
It's not, but because it's not a new product, everyone understands it. It's like the grammar.
Yeah, like
the grammar.
And the distribution is well understood, right?
Yeah,
So-
for sure. The point I'm trying to get at is like, I think the answer is no. But like, what's the new thing from Japan that's being, or at least appropriated or like appreciated
So like
externally?
like Harajuku, I guess. Like Justin Bieber launched his brand here. Did you see this?
All right.
You know, over in Cat Street, you know that one building that used to be a secondhand store, Ragtag,
Yeah.
that then became like a pop-up spot.
But that's
No?
still like Jet Set Radio though.
Sure.
Harajuku, that's 20 years old.
But
That's not new.
but people are still leaning into it because that's what it represents. It represents youth.
Yeah.
know.
But it's like the facsimile of the youth.
Yeah, in 2025 it totally is.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing that I'm curious about is like, what's the new thing that's up and coming in Japan? What's that new
But like
narrative?
it seems to be the experience of being in Japan,
Yeah,
right?
But what?
Like last 5
that's
years.
still kind of nebulous.
Although
to
I think it's
define.
like peaking, right, in terms of like social media and youth culture
Well,
hype
I
around
mean-
doing just trips to Japan.
Because I think because of the huge tourism boom, it's
Yeah.
completely saturating the content.
Yeah.
That experience, right? And it's like I feel like you don't even have to come here and you're gonna get it
Yeah.
because you've been so like bombarded by like
Oh, on Instagram and everything, right? Everybody has friends who.
yeah.
It's like the joke is like everybody is either planning a trip to go to Japan, like in Japan right now, or coming back from one.
I don't
has a
know,
friend that goes
unless you're
coming
just
back
like
from
really
one.
competitive with friends, or I just don't understand things. If I imagine myself as somebody who is not familiar with Japan, but also know the kind of hiccups that they're going to run into, why would you come here?
As a tourist?
Yeah.
As a tourist.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't. I mean, I see the shit that my parents do. I see the shit that happens to friends of just like, that seems like an existential crisis. It's just
Well,
like
I mean,
waiting to happen.
What kind of crisis?
Having to hitchhike because the tour guide that they hired didn't know how to get them back to the station.
Okay, that sounds like they're poor, but
No, they hired a fucking tour guide who did not know how to get them back to the station.
Wow.
And so then these people, who I won't say exactly who they were, just took it into their arms. It was like, all right, you're not helping us, so let's start hitchhiking because it's getting dark. Sort of shit. I've hitchhiked too,
Yeah.
but intentionally,
sure.
right? Just like so many accidents. And really like strange ones too,
Sure.
not just like...
But I argue most of the tourists are kind of confined to the major metro.
True, and the anecdote that I've just
And-
given is off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay.
And so my parents survived going from here to Fukuoka
All right.
by themselves.
good.
I do think the Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto kind of route is getting saturated. I think.
Oh,
in the,
for sure.
I think the next 2-3 years, people are going to be like, "Ugh, I'd like,
Sure.
look for something else.
As a Taiwanese person,
Okay.
it's probably similar to the Hong Kong people. So
Yeah.
Hong Kong people skip Tokyo, largely skip Osaka because it's just another big city.
Yeah.
You've been there, so everyone's over in Fukuoka, Shikoku, and finding like the really niche places, right?
Is there good dim sum there?
There probably is.
Oh shit.
But because I think like Tokyo's like it's nice, but it's not so special, right? If you live in a city, it's another city. But
Yeah.
it's I guess it's these like cultural experiences that everyone's looking for, right? They want to go see like the Mura.
I think that's the thing is it's really locked up. It's not easily accessible. Like yesterday, I think I sent that video from Andrew Lee, who plays in an excellent band called Shredded to Bits or something like that. And he just his band just toured Japan. It was a really like pretty informative. I'd argue I agree with probably like not close to everything
Sure.
that he says about it. But to access that experience, which is like underground music in Japan,
Sure.
if that's your thing, doing that is going to cost you
So-
like of time, effort, money, all of it. And especially if you're a band, if you're doing it for like a business thing,
Sure.
breaking into that
Sure.
is just like crimson fucking
Sure.
red. Like you're bleeding money to do that thing.
I mean, you need a proper like industry
Yeah.
guide, right?
Right. And of course, it's and I'm not talking about just like the poorest independent. They tend to be pretty poor, but like there's independent bands who do have money. It's a complex issue, but yeah, touring Japan as a band is like don't crack it open.
What are we looking at here?
Okay, so
Komisha.
Come on.
Moonshine. Yeah.
okay, something that I've been trying to wrangle in my head is bubble tea. So
It's good.
You don't
I,
get
I
it.
do.
The
I do
perpetual
like it.
cycle.
Get outta here.
I don't understand like the culture. Of
okay, so I do deep dive. I can try and explain this. But what I really don't like going to bubble tea places because the menus are like massively huge, right? You can get 20 kinds of drinks with like 30 options each or something.
Yeah.
And versus Japan where there's a single menu, like a single menu item basically, right?
Yep.
And like what is the difference here, right? Like why is it that the rest of Asia sort of loves this like mass
Cheers.
customization and Japan does not?
Kanpai.
Kanpai.
Cheers.
Ooh.
Non-alcoholic.
For the record.
That was good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually really fun. But
Yeah.
my background has been
That's
in
nice.
like craft and specialty foods, right?
Sure.
So
Oh yeah, that is right. This is probably interesting to you.
Yeah.
So,
What the hell?
so you're going to like a bubble tea shop when you have like what do you serve? You serve everything, right?
Yeah.
And any way you want. Well, then my question is like, what is your specialty? Like, what are you actually good at, right?
That's right. Yeah.
But then realize actually that's not a question people are asking, right? And but like that's the mentality that like I was talking to my friend about this and like, oh, you've lived in Japan for too long. That's a very Japanese way to think about stuff, right? And it's like, okay, so then is that the advantage of what it means to be here, right? Is if you live and build stuff here, you're building stuff like no, like there's like a craftsmanship mind to it. Like I'm building like a small menu of things that I think are really, really, really good. I'm not giving any options because it's like here's like this here it is, right? Here's this thing that you should enjoy, and I've designed it for you to enjoy. Versus like,
So
Yeah.
I mean I have a good question about that. Right? Sorry, were you?
I kind of
Yeah.
buy it and I kind of don't.
Yeah.
I haven't landed on like a proper stance on this. It's just this is what I'm seeing. I'm like I can't
Sure. Yeah.
So my view is like, I mean, that kind of thing is like what people love about Japan, right? So like so many people come here and like rave about the holes in the walls and these unique experiences and the endless specialty stores. What I'm super confused about is like why Japan Inc. seems to not leverage that / like seems to like really not get it.
But they do. I
But
mean,
do they?
When you look at the portfolio of your Toyotas, your Sonys, that's a massive portfolio.
But no, but the point is like they have a lot of these companies have such massive portfolios that to like an outside observer, they seem like super unfocused, and like a lot of the people who are managing these things seem to like somehow weirdly not really understand craft.
Well, that's it because I feel
their
the-
professional
the,
life?
The Japanese like corporate portfolio is run like a bubble tea shop. It's like what is it? It's everything that we think you might want. Versus like really like dialed in.
Yep.
And you because if you ask them, wait, what's in here? At one of those Taoist tea shops, they're like, I don't know. That's not how we're thinking about this thing.
Yeah, because it's
You
like
know?
I mean, you go to the average office here, right? It's like do you find the craft, right? People are like, oh, Japan, like craft,
Sure.
and like, and I guess like on some level maybe there's attention to detail, but the classic scene is like this like kind of chaotic open office with papers everywhere and like people using like what still looks like Windows 95
Sure.
or like whatever. Obviously
It's
not
John
that,
Wick, okay?
right? And we're like,
But I mean, so I think it exists in the creating niche, right? So in design, you'll find all the typography nerds here.
yeah.
Like crafting each curve of
Yeah.
like each letter, right?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar enough, but I'm surprised there's not like a specific like Tokyo-born version or Japanese-born version of like a code review.
Yeah.
Sure.
'Cause,
Yeah.
like, it feels like that there should be some sort of like
man.
not engineering, just like coding excellence here of like techniques and frameworks. Of, like,
Totally.
but
Yep.
it doesn't come from here. It comes, people are importing stuff from the valley, right?
And
Yep.
bastardizing it.
Sure, and doing it wrong, right? But you would expect more homegrown strategies and processes.
So
here.
just to bring it back, 2026.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
What is the craft of 2026?
Look, for me, what I'm seeing is small in-person events are coming back. I think, Ken, like you were saying, this is the first proper post-COVID year. And I think we're coming back to like
Yeah.
meetups
Yep.
and events and community, especially driven by all this AI stuff. Because of so much AI slop, people are more incentivized and have a reason to meet in person now, as well as not post about it. So we're gonna see basically all of this stuff happen in real life and go kind of stealth. So I feel like we're gonna enter this zone that was kind of like early 2000s, like pre-Facebook.
Yep.
A lot of stuff happened, and unless you knew, you didn't know.
Yeah.
Is there a need for distribution? No. It works if this is like, let's just say Davos or, this is Allen and Company exclusive, but you have a bunch of reporters on the outside looking in. Everyone knows all the deals are happening in that room.
Sure.
But if you're just Schrodinger, does the cat exist?
But that's the thing, you won't know until the deal gets made and goes public or something, right? And I feel like this is the kind of world we're moving to, especially in Tokyo, where because we have density, it's going to be much more small group lunches and like salons and that kind of stuff. And
I feel like the Japan version of that box though is a really shitty one that's full of holes.
So you're against Nobokais and Nijikais.
Sure.
No, I mean, is it dead or alive? Like, I think you can actually tell. Right, Japan has made like a facsimile of a box, but it's not like really a box. Everybody just believes in the box, but there's not a box, sort of thing.
Blasphemy.
But the box will be made
Those are
of
boxes
fantastic
exist.
hinoki. It would slide open. It'd be perfect joinery.
Hinoki. What a...
Oh, Hinoki. That was beautiful.
Yeah,
It looks great on the outside.
It's very light.
So most wooden products in Japan use imported wood from Canada.
Yep. And
Get it made in China?
Yeah. Basically, like.
No, it's interesting. I mean, I agree with everything you said, right? This seems to dovetail as well in the shift towards like smaller teams, right? A lot of the narrative around like in-person distribution. I do think there's a big question about like what's going to happen to social media, probably beginning from this year on, as like they get saturated by like. Have you guys used the Sora app? Where it's like
it's terrible.
I know, but it's like pure AI slop,
Yeah,
and like leaning into it.
It's like pornographically bad.
But the thing is, like that's the future of social media.
If that's
or
the future,
or
dude,
a significant percentage of it, right? And I'm starting to see like fatigue amongst even like top creators and YouTubers being like, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be like on this platform. A lot of people are like, it's like I've been approached 3 or 4 times by people who like are pitching me on replacing myself, like with my likeness with AI.
Yeah.
And people are like, why would I take this? Because then why would I get rid of my own job?
Yeah.
So
Right.
I guess
And stuff like
maybe
this.
kind of tying into narratives and meaning,
Sure.
what's going to be fun in 2026?
Discovery.
Yeah. Bars.
Discovery?
I think discovery.
Bars? Craft brewery?
No, because I feel like as the sort of medium changes, the need for this sort of dissemination of ideas still exists, right?
Yes.
Like that's what we're seeing. These let's do a talk at a bar type of thing, right? Where
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
because it's like people still want that LinkedIn article or Medium thing, but not on that
Should
format.
we just start a university at a bar?
I mean,
What a novel idea.
Oh, seriously, What was that Matt Damon movie?
Oh,
Yeah.
Goodwill Hunting.
no, the
That
other
was what
one.
Clara called it.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Goodwill Hunting.
Yeah.
Goodwill University.
Yeah. No, I think honestly, we've talked about it a little bit. I think having like the format, because we have 4 mics, and honestly speaking, even if we could get more mics, I don't think I'd want 6 to handle. It's just like a lot. And so having like a live recording where we take live questions from the audience who like pays to go and watch and have their questions answered would be I would probably go and
Yeah, I think
would
something like
spend money
that
on
is going to be the most interesting, right? It's like, I mean, a lot of the most consequential conversations I'm seeing are happening live and in like WhatsApp groups, right? And, so,
WhatsApp.
and there's been that like general migration.
where half of the
and then-
messages are deleted.
and people still use like Luma, right? Like as like as a semi-anonymous like event hosting platform,
Yeah.
and then just share them into the WhatsApp to like
Yep.
coordinate.
Yeah,
people.
that's the stack there.
There is something that I feel slightly sad about, things going private and more siloed and like out of the open.
I
But-
like it. I mean, I can understand there's like some gatekeepiness about it. There's like exclusivity, which can be looked at negative. Like, it's not purely positive, but at the same time, I do think that like it's a really good way to kickstart or at least like energize, let's say, a number of different cultural verticals.
Yeah, and I think it's more organic and natural in a lot of ways, because like we've been suffering from information overload in a lot of ways. But it also feels like the end of an era, right? Like this dream of like the open internet beginning like in the 90s,
Oh,
where you just you like go on and see all these websites, and then your reach as an individual just continue to expand.
Sure.
Like more and more and more, and that feels like that's the curtain is
Which
closing
is
on
so
that
funny because
to a more
I'm listening to the sovereign individual book,
sure.
and it's such a throwback to what the internet could have been,
Sure.
should have been. Would have
Sure,
been.
but you know, I think, but looking at that, like where's the opportunity, right?
Mhm.
You know, I think we're because of the internet, you know, the whole thing like it's killed subculture, right?
Sure,
But
yep.
you know, we're gonna see a return of subcultures, and subcultures are like the gestation points for new ideas and
Yes.
different ways of living. So hopefully, we're in this phase where we're gonna see a lot of new, different kinds of ideas.
Yes. So it's not a bad thing. By the way, I think this is like even on a personal basis, I
Yes.
think this is good for me myself, right? Like as somebody who's like spending way too much time on like the feed-based internet.
Yeah.
Like getting into like
No.
people in rooms and like being interacting with real people
Sure.
with original thought and whatnot.
But
Yeah.
the point I want to make was
Yeah.
you know, that's where things are going.
Mhm.
But then people, you know, it's not like the internet never happened. It's not like we all
Of course.
we forget.
Yeah.
So people are still going to understand this idea of like, hey, there is some place to share with the entire world, right? That may not be social media anymore, right? And I guess like, what platform or device or experience will that become? You know, it's some other kind of feed, probably. Is it? I don't know, right?
It's such a good like I'm still gonna keep posting on LinkedIn and on stuff, but it's
Right.
like it's so fascinating, right? Because like I mean, we still want distribution, we still want brand building,
Sure.
and all this other stuff. It's like I don't know how to do that without the internet anymore.
But this thing, right? Because you know, we can't conceive because the world isn't here, right? But like that need isn't going away, and like it's fascinating for me to think. Okay, if you removed all like if you removed like LinkedIn, Instagram, like all the social stuff, right, and just said, hey, all we have now are your LLM buddy,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
Like, how does that? Is there some way how we disseminate our?
I know. Like we've been living in the age of like so it's really interesting, right? Because like we've been living in the age of mass media for like 150 years now, right? This is like social media is just like the latest iteration of that. But I think based on everything we're saying about it, it's like in a lot of these channels, the noise to signal ratio has gotten
So fucking
so
high.
bad,
Yeah.
right? And like we're projecting that it's going to get even worse because of AI slop really hitting critical mass,
I call that the problem with
I mean,
everything.
right? So like what's after that?
Oh,
Wait,
I
right?
would-
say that one more time? Sorry.
The problem with everything.
No,
Yeah.
no,
It's like
I don't think
Ouroboros.
it's a problem with everything. It's a noise.
Yeah.
It's a noise a signal issue, right? And if you believe these things will self-correct because we're human and we want things to be functional,
Yeah.
doesn't that mean broadcast is going to come back? You know, things like radio. We have a fucking radio tower and it's a single source of truth because it's broadcasting from this one station.
Yep.
You know,
How much of that is just a distribution channel or technology versus an experience?
I mean,
A radio station experience, how's that different than a podcast experience? or
because
YouTube experience?
it's I don't know what the other word fragmenting. It's defragment. It's increasing the signal to noise ratio, right? And saying, hey, among all the slop, here's like a verified source of true content that is somehow endorsed by a state or institution
Let
or whatever.
me just play devil's advocate. If that verified source happens to be owned by a foreign state actor,
I think it's there's a degree to which I almost think it doesn't matter in a context. It's like that. That's why like Voice of America
yeah.
was supposed to be in a lot of the world, right? So there's some interesting discourse that I came across recently, which is about like the dissolution of the 2010s monoculture, which is like if you think about Hollywood, like what was the last kind of quote unquote universal cultural movement? And people will point to things like Avengers Endgame, right? And that was like what? Like that was like 2016,
Something like that, yeah.
or something like that, right? And after that, like nobody. It's like, what happened to Avengers? Like no, it's no longer a cultural moment, right?
Those particular movies are really weird to me
Yeah.
because I think I've watched one, and it seems like there must be at least 10 different Avengers movies. And there's like this entire universe. It's like the Berenstain Bears thing of like, hold up, that exists, and I can't see it, but everybody seems to be referencing it. I guess I'm just out of touch, is what I'm getting at.
But yeah, it's like it's like people are like we got fragmented during the pandemic, and then like TikTok took over, and you got these super individualized feeds, and there totally are memes that are still going around. Like, you look at Gen Alpha, and
Sure.
it's
Skibidi.
6'7",
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
Whatever.
Say it one more time. 6.
6'7", right? Whatever.
Yeah.
So like, there's still some sort of cultural transmission there, but
Yeah.
yeah, what are the cultural moments that are still happening? I think there's like a desire to go back to that. in some capacity, even if it's like we don't know where it's.
Well, I mean, that's what I've been playing around with a bunch of like data structures, especially for web design recently, and that's something that I've noticed is that the internet, in particular, the Japanese internet, it's like a facade of structure, but there actually isn't anything there, right?
Sure.
And so it's just this mess of. It's not even spaghetti because it doesn't really have like heft.
Sure.
It's just like I don't even know what to call it. There's this
It's a
single layer.
facade, right?
Yeah, it's a facade.
Yeah.
But within that, you can structure it. It's not that it can't be structured. It's just that it hasn't been.
Like the content within the or like
Is it because it's actually an image and not actual
Sometimes
HTML?
it's things like that, but also just like the whole.
Sometimes it's
Specifically,
like
like
literally
structure-
just a JPEG,
Yeah.
right, or
It is, that's the
PNG,
thing.
and that's the entire website.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
So,
even like a.
Structured data with schemas, with like domain registrar for safety protocols and stuff.
You're
It's-
asking for too much.
It just
there.
hasn't
Sorry.
been done. And so one of the concepts I'm playing around with is just so you can have the open internet.
Sure.
What is the open internet? But if you structure it specifically, then within that open internet you get
So is
this.
there a product play here?
Absolutely.
So are you going to be like the whiz for
Yep.
X?
Yeah.
Deploy your LLM
Exactly.
and all of a sudden it auto converts.
Exactly. And if you're part of that crew, then you're
Yeah.
going to be the cream of the crop because you bothered structuring it and are playing
So-
by the
Yeah.
best practice.
And like LLMs have superpowers, right, in terms
Yeah.
of like organizing unstructured data.
Yeah.
And so
Are
like
we-
there is a
sorry,
opportunity here.
sorry, Joe. This is a straight thought.
Yeah.
Are we gonna see the dark web go like mainstream?
Ooh.
Good.
You know, like, The whole point is well,
Oh gosh.
because of all this you know this geopolitical national stuff happening. You know the internet, the open internet is getting fragmented and firewalled and splitting off. We apps access all this sort of stuff, right? And you know the whole thing with dark web is it's like
But the dark is not really dark.
well
No, this is
basically it's
It's
a,
pseudo dark.
it's not dark, but you know an LLM for instance might be able to find something, right? Like or you know do we just have a collection of IP addresses? I don't know, right? Like I'm not familiar enough with this, but you know is this type of thing where it's just the continuation of the open net is just the underground that's more like the open secret that everyone uses.
Yeah, I kind of think that sounds correct, at least in the way, that's what I would expect the trajectory to be. And again, too, like, even talking about the dark net or whatever, like, that has such, like, the interpretation of what that means versus what the dark web actually is
Sure.
are so very different, right? I can't imagine something like the dark web catching on, but, like, VPNs, for sure, already have. And so going on to, like, this weird rogue, like,
So
maybe
you
it's
think
dangerous, maybe not.
Pornhub's going to go on the dark web because of all the age
But
verification?
that kind of thing, you know, with that kind of thing, and
Uh-huh.
Watch Pornhub maybe.
you know,
with
and
free.
like a return of like, hey, I'll see you on the BBS.
Well,
you
let me
know,
ask you,
like-
how is it going to monetize? Because
Access?
historically it's been, you know, mainstream businesses, advertisements, right? That's what's sort of been driving a lot of the internet.
Yeah, like a model I've been playing around with recently to just recently actual positive effect is, I mean, okay, if you want upfront fees or like monthly retainers, stuff like that, okay. A lot of people don't like giving that up, but if you just basically, not equity, but just profit share
But
of,
if
sure.
I'm an owner, let's just
Mhm.
say I am.
Oh, it's easy.
Let's just play. You know, if I am some website that is being threatened by government for whatever reason,
Yeah.
I go from the not so dark to the dark web. What is that business model now? Is it access? Is it still ad driven? What is it?
so you're talking about protection, basically.
I'm just saying how to keep the lights on.
You trade feet photos for like. You know,
So that sounds like OnlyFans. but sure.
Fee photos for crypto.
Exactly.
I mean, to be fair though, like that was a lot of the value proposed
Yeah.
value
Yeah.
proposition of crypto. I mean, I think you're saying like, what are we adopting the dark web? I mean, it's like if you think about it, a lot of the stuff that was pretty rare like a decade ago has been gone pretty mainstream, right? So like, you know, Bitcoin,
sure.
Yep.
household thing, right? And like VPNs,
Yeah.
household thing, all of these like privacy centric things. It's like I don't know, but it's so much of our experience of the internet feels like super mediated through these big walled garden platforms. It's like
Sure.
AOL ended up winning after all.
Sure.
Like,
Sure.
and like
Yeah.
now, but it's like, people are looking for something that's like a little bit different.
For whatever reason,
It's
I've
like
been
an AOL
really,
is
I've been
addictive.
really curious. I don't see it happening, so this isn't
Yeah.
a prediction. But the like the value prop, at least from a privacy point of view, of like mesh networks as well as air gap networks, to me is like really interesting.
Sure.
Of basically like geotagged networks.
I mean, okay. I mean, like to run along with it, it'd be super funny. Like, hey, we have our community meetup at this one bar. By the way, we have our server rack in the back. We host our own, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and we run like a couple kilometers of like, Cat 6 to another bar. And we just have our own like LAN network set up, which is super like.
Does
like-
it require your own internet? It doesn't require your own infrastructure.
I'm saying it'd be funny if it did, and if we end up in this like weird apocalyptic doomsday, infrastructure collapse proof.
I mean, Starlink,
sure,
right?
sure.
So, I mean, the thing, anyone can go snip a cable, is what I'm saying.
Well, but I mean, that's like with mesh networks anyway. On a low level, is just Bluetooth basically, and it's piggybacking off of all the local area Bluetooth devices.
Sounds expensive.
No, it's like really not.
I mean, it sounds expensive to our mom and pop.
Oh yeah, like
Sure.
if you want to get these services,
Yeah.
it does cost it.
But I mean, there's a lot of other interesting trends, right? Which is like the bear case for a lot of the big AI companies is basically that inference goes on device,
Sure.
and then everybody just runs these like small, really efficient open source models.
I've
and
met
then-
3 or 4 that wants to pitch other companies private in AI on
Yeah.
a Jetson box.
Yeah. And it's like, is that
Is that MLM or LLM?
it's like in the near term, obviously it makes sense to like use the best AI available. But I mean, if you project together like for like 10 years, well, just like your AI on your phone be able
Sure.
to do 99% of everything you need it to do.
Well, I believe SLMs are a thing,
Yeah.
and it's going to be more of a thing. And
Yes,
so it's
it
going to
is.
we're going to move probably more towards the DeepSeek model, where you just have specialized. And I forget who talked about this. There was one event that was talking about. Actually, they were part of the Tokyo AI group a few weeks ago. And Samba Nova, they're in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So they have this kind of like master agent, and they launch sub agents. And so all your sub agents are going to be using their own little specialty SLMs.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably going to be the case for most
Sure.
IoT devices.
But I guess the question is, are they all under one platform, or are they all a bunch of separate?
probably could be interoperable, especially if you
That-
have
that-
MCPs,
I mean,
right?
that's ideal.
MCPs.
That's ideal
Yeah.
if there's that protocol, right? Like something in Bangkok that really freaked me out was how incredibly fractured the payment systems were.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
So
yeah.
every bank issues their own QR code, and
Yeah.
just trying to pay for something is like incredible. It's like, well, which of these like 20 payment things do you want to use, right? And it's really surprising that it hasn't consolidated into one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, is this the future of like, for I guess Southeast Asia at least, what the tech scene is going to look like, right? Where it can somehow just support a multitude of a ton of small players, and people are okay with it.
It's regulatory usually.
Is it?
Usually
Or
it takes some direct
Oh.
from the government to say, you're dead, you're alive.
Well,
Sure.
Didn't Japan just pass a new some tech policy opening? What it got rid of like most of what made the Apple Store like quality. I haven't read, but I saw a headline or something.
But I think the U.S. sort of consumer tech environment in Japan are pretty similar, and they're not that many places, pretty streamlined. And then you go to even Taipei and Bangkok, it's wild, right? It's chaos.
Yeah.
And
To be fair, I feel like even Japan has like way too many payment methods.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah,
It's like 50. But one thing that was really interesting about growing up in Taiwan, basically there's one thing where there are way too many TV stations than the population can justify, and there are also way too many banks. There are like 100. There are like hundreds of banks, and for a population of 23 people, right? But they like struggle to make that happen. I think that
Ah.
I've consistently seen that happen like across a lot of Asia for some reason. It's like you go to the U.S. right? It's like there are obviously a lot of banks and whatnot, but like payment methods, you got like what I don't know.
Everyone has one, right?
Everybody, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Visa, Mastercard, Discover,
Alipay.
Amex,
It's like script.
right?
Yeah.
And then most people use Venmo. It's like weirdly enough, it's like the U.S. is weirdly consolidated
Yeah.
for how big and supposedly diverse it is.
Oh, it's getting very aggressively consolidated.
Yeah.
Extremely.
Which actually drives a lot of efficiency.
It
compared to
does.
other
It
ways.
drives a lot of efficiency, but the thing
Yeah.
that I took away thinking is like, how does that affect the consumer, right? That the person who uses these technologies, right? Where you don't have an expectation that one platform, one service can do everything. So like, how much more savvy or less savvy are you to like switching around? There's like less loyalty per thing, and
I think people are less happy. I don't know. Like today, I just took a taxi, and they took credit cards, but they didn't take my ID like touch payments thing. And and it's like there's just like zero way to predict like what payment methods like
Right.
somebody uses or says. And so I'd like take out a credit card and like put it with the IC chip in. And what was interesting, this is like a taxi affiliated with Uber as well. And I was like, what?
Yeah, like last night I was at like a pretty major concert, and in fact I'm wearing the merch right now.
Hey.
And in buying this, number one, there was just this huge line, and they were actively not saying we prefer cash, but instead of saying that, they were saying try not to use your credit card. It takes too much time. We don't like it. And this is not for like one of my normal underground extreme metal bands. This is like an internationally known touring act that draws like decent crowds. And so they were really just going back to cash.
Yep.
And I thought that's kind of bizarre. Again, if you're like underground and all that stuff, then okay, whatever. But for a thing like that, reverting to
There's no good way to do like international payments as a pop-up vendor.
Yeah.
So I saw this at Art Book Fair in Bangkok and Tokyo, right, where people have to resort to cash because it's like how can I charge? How can I take any of your digital payments, even its credit card?
yeah.
It just doesn't work well, especially when they start thinking about like all the tax stuff. If you even bother about that,
So one of the interesting things I've seen pop up around Tokyo is like the rise of stores that don't take cash.
Yep.
Like even like just down the street, there's like a cafe right there that's
It's a lot
like
of cafes.
yeah, like like cashless payments only, which I think is fascinating because like to answer your previous questions, like it's fascinating that people are going back to cash. My initial answer would be like, oh, obviously because that's like the only universally accepted form of payment. Except now that's even then it's like not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it feels like another sign of social fragmentation. But like presumably for a lot of these like hip cafes, they know that like 99.9% of their clientele has like a Visa card, right? And so it's okay. But for everybody who doesn't have Visa or like who wants to pay in cash, like screw you guys.
How many of them are
right.
actually motivated by some sort of partnership?
With
Some
payments,
POS payment
yeah.
system, right? So there's
I don't
I know
think so.
Stripe's moving pretty hard right now. Is what I've heard.
Some of them are right. Some of them use Stripe, or some of them use like Square.
right.
Or yeah, I'm sorry.
But Square. But like the one I like their POS was just like super standard. It's just like
You're right.
some domestic, just
I mean, because
your card
the
down.
thing is, like for us when we do the drink stuff,
yeah.
if we don't take cash.
Yeah.
Because it's not the main, we're not doing this full time for like pop up stuff, so we don't need to have to share in cash.
Yep.
But also, if you can only do cash, you're not really our customer anyways.
Sure.
And I feel like everyone, at least in this neighborhood, is probably similar. And it's like, okay, if you're that type of person, like you're not adding any value purchasing my stuff.
Sure.
Well, it's also like an indicator of the level of competence, for lack of a better word, at least like specialized competence that somebody has with regards to that thing. And if you're selling a product that kind of requires, at least for like optimal use, that sort of specialized competence, then if they're signaling I can't do it, yeah, you probably don't necessarily want to deal with them. It's like a lot more effort to get the same amount of money.
Sure. Well, the other thing is, it's a
Right.
lot of effort to get the same amount of money, and it's like they're so marginal. It doesn't hurt to lose this person,
Yeah.
right? And even old people have like smartphones here, right?
Yeah.
And they're able to do like the Suica touch thing.
Sure.
So it's like, okay, if you're really not part of that segment, like this is the product for you, you know.
Sure.
And that's fine because like I can't service. I'm not here to service everyone.
So can we call like 2026 and onwards like the era of the private commons?
I kind of like that. Yeah.
Right. It's like we have the era like the public commons, but the public commons has become like so inhospitable, like in a lot of places, including on the internet. It's just like every time I go on the public commons internet, as demonstrated through like as represented through Twitter, Instagram, like whatever I usually YouTube I usually end up in. I feel worse more often than I feel good. And then when I engage in like some private comments or some sort of like private gathering, I usually feel better.
I need to delete
more
your whole
often.
following, your whole list.
Well, I mean,
Reset.
mostly I feel bad when I read Twitter and I read Threads.
I don't
Gee, I wonder why.
And then LinkedIn is like, it's like it feels like literally like vanilla slop a lot of the time,
most of the time,
right?
yeah.
It's like net neutral, but it's zero-ish. But yeah, it's like I think a lot of people. I think I'm not alone in like
It
feeling.
would be interesting if
pretty
someone
tired
actually developed
of
a
this stuff.
LLM to curate your entire feed. So you're just having a like a.
I wanted to build that.
lens.
I wanted to build like a daily digest or a weekly digest that scrapes Twitter and just gets me like the posts or like the threads that are like specific to things that I would be interested
So
in.
you're
or, like,
looking
useful
at the
for.
world through rose lens glasses.
Yeah, or I just want the tech threads.
Yeah.
Just give me the informational tech threads that keep me updated on things happening in the industry.
Sure.
And I need my LLM to go read it for me so I don't have to. Like you'd get an intern to do it, right?
And then you next thing you know, your GPT is having like some sort of like CPSD.
These humans!
You're shutting me down.
I hate
Kill
it.
them.
Turn me off.
Yeah.
Turn me off.
You got to wipe its memory after every single day. It's like forget. Just
Isn't that like what's that TV show? Isn't there a TV show about like a bunch of people who do a job that they absolutely hate so much that they have to get their memory wiped like every night?
You're not talking about Severance. No.
Yeah, that's it. I haven't watched
They
it.
hate it? No, they didn't hate it. They
Oh.
never
Or is-
explained it why.
Oh, okay.
yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I think Japan's great, and like people are really coming. Like, what everybody raves about is basically because Japan does a great job of preserving the public commons
Yes.
physically.
Yes.
Like the Japanese version of the internet is also just as nasty, if not nastier,
Yes.
than what you see elsewhere. But at least physically, it's like it's people take really good care of it, which is why it's pleasant. And there are like people talking about like how the U.S. This is the doomer take, which is like recently it feels like the U.S. is like in the end stages of like the local mall.
Sure.
Going out of business and getting ready for a sale, right? It's like half the stores are closed down, and like it's like I'm just here for the Apple Store, right?
Where's the hot topic?
And Japan, the public commons feel very alive.
So
in a sense.
I had a huge conversation about this, about what the effect of these live translation apps are going to do.
Sure.
Because the reason the commons are still intact is because it's so inaccessible unless you speak Japanese.
Yeah.
And if you speak enough Japanese, you understand the sort of the manners.
Yeah.
You need to operate, right? And that sort of helps keep the space.
Sure.
But once you get a bunch of people who if we can all freely communicate,
Yeah.
but without the cultural aspect, it just tears all this down, right?
There was a great
Yeah.
anecdote. John Cena,
Oh.
the wrestler.
Yeah.
He's invisible, man. I don't know if you know
So
that.
apparently,
Something happened recently.
yeah,
He retired.
Apparently, he speaks fluent Mandarin.
Yeah, he does.
He
Yeah.
speaks pretty good man.
And
He
so-
put a lot of work in.
And
Yeah.
like 10 years, and this was actually like kind of inspirational
Oh,
in that he was on, I think it was Joe Rogan. His whole reason was of all of the countries that the WWF or
Yeah.
whichever one he's part
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
isn't in is China.
Yep.
And he was like, motherfucker, I love wrestling. We
Yeah.
need to go to China.
Yep.
And so the WWE paid for him to learn 10
Yeah.
years, something like that. Oh, take a little.
10 years to learn Mandarin?
Or not to learn, but like studied intensively
Yeah.
and is like really fucking fluent. And I think it was like last year, so he goes to wherever it was in China, and I guess it's just like reading, adverts.
Yeah.
Right? And it was kind of one of those like Anchorman moments of like you're not you're saying it, but you're
Yeah.
not like thinking about it. And read somebody got a pro Taiwan message in
Oh
there.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And read it
oh,
on
he got
national
canceled.
air.
Yeah.
Right? And had this whole and he didn't even like recognize it until the government was like,
It was
yo,
up-
dude,
yeah.
you got to apologize for that.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, what's going on? And so, yeah, even if you speak the language, you don't speak the culture,
Yeah.
right? And so that's probably an up and coming problem, actually.
He's had to apologize a couple times over the years
Yeah.
for like Chinese related mishaps.
Yeah. And so that's maybe, and I hadn't thought of it in that sense before, but that bifurcation, or at least like splitting of the atom of culture, which is there's two elements in there. There's the language part, and then there's the other things that language facilitate but are not language itself.
Sure.
And so we got the language thing pretty good with LLMs now, and like the new AirPods and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah,
That
yeah.
works pretty good, but that doesn't mean you're going to be fucking smart about what's going on.
You can add another layer.
Yeah, I would.
It's like hardwired into your
Like the
prefrontal
that
cortex.
I mean, is that like the Cluely value proposition? You wear glasses that like lead you through every single interaction in an
I don't see
appropriate
why
way.
that's not possible.
Yeah,
have
no,
that
I don't
for
think it's
sales.
not possible. I think that's probably going to happen in the next
Okay,
5 to 10
assume
years.
that
but
does happen.
yeah,
What do you become?
You're
Because
an
Because
agent of agent.
you're
The
not
median.
making any critical decisions, at least in like the public sphere.
Well, I already do that.
The Goon
You're
Hotel.
running granola in the background.
Yeah.
You know, transcribing and you keep hitting. What did I miss? What did I miss? Tell me something smart to say. Tell me.
Yeah, but
something smart to
that
say.
seems like Matrixy to me.
it is. It is getting really wild,
Yeah.
right?
But that might be okay, right? If you look at the bell curve of people on the planet, right?
Yeah.
How many just want to enjoy a ride? Versus being,
Probably
like,
a lot,
active,
and actually,
like-
that's what
Yeah,
I've been thinking about
that's
with
fair.
media and like culture via media is especially with the open internet of maybe all this slop. It's a little bit of a negative way of looking at it, but that's really consumable for a lot of people, and maybe if they maybe not go away, then you kind of split the atom of like, okay, here's the people who actually consume slop, and because they do that. Honestly, they're probably just not very interesting and don't really have all that much to say. But
it's
the
like
people who get past it, now you've got a nice chunk of really interesting.
is that
people.
not like exactly the plot of The Matrix?
Sure.
slash like
Yeah.
slash like Brave
Yeah.
New World.
Yeah, it
Like
is.
Soma, right? It's like just inject that in my
Yeah.
veins, right?
So
Like-
this is the thing, and this is why I was asking you earlier about these fantastic Mormon businesses, right?
Sure.
It's I feel like, I think we're approaching this fork in the road, right? Where without some sort of like larger ethical framework, right? It's going to be really easy to chase money, which is going to be to matrix and turn people into just like harvestable things, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that makes it makes a lot of sense right now, right? Like we can do this, but what should stop us from doing this?
Yeah, some sort of ethics, some kind of framework that goes beyond just the chasing of cash, right? And that's a hard sell, I think, for a lot of. But again, though, actually, in Japan, it might be. I mean, there's the technological hurdle, but and this is one of the few times I'll probably ever speak like kindly about Shokunin. But that focus on the craft.
They really do not care as much about the money.
Yeah,
Like they genuinely do
Yeah.
not.
Well, that's
yeah.
because in Japan it has that makes Japan. It has that civic duty and pride, right? And
Yeah.
you don't want to screw up your fellow neighbor, right?
Yeah.
And okay, and so it's hard to see it happening here, right? And in terms of what to export, like, is there something here that is like a separate kind of ethos that can framework,
Well, isn't that the funny thing too? Going back to like the narrative conversation too,
Yeah.
of all right, so being Japanese, you could probably make an argument. It's got something to do with the appreciation of good craftsmanship, or I don't know how to phrase it, but something like that. But that's still just a process. It's not like a thing in and of itself.
So the
What's the thing?
the thing that the way I've heard it phrased, which has clicked for me, is that it's not about craftsmanship. It's about the valuing discipline. Discipline is like a virtue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Rules.
about rules, but also being focused and kind of working on a thing,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Which leads to craftsmanship.
Right.
But it's about being disciplined and restrained. That
It's
is
very Alex Hormozy of you.
I mean, I
Absolutely.
think stuff like Alex Hormozy like is popular for a reason, right? And like the stuff with Scott Galloway really taking off,
Yeah, he's got
right? Because he's like trying. And I was talking to a friend about this, and he's a guy who's like been trying to figure out life and stuff. and he was talking like, yeah, like Scott Galloway feels like the kind of person who would be like a really good coach, right? And like really like call me out on my BS, right? And like
That's his
help me
brand.
figure out my life, etc. It's like, have you seen some of like the world value surveys that are like pretty sobering, which is like the like what's most important to you in life, and like in recent years there's like even just in the last 15 years there's been like the one thing going like straight up,
Which is?
which is money.
Oh.
People are like, oh, money, and like, everything else has like kind
Yeah.
of fallen off a cliff. And there's like these other trends, which is like, you know, the percentage of teens that read a book almost daily, and
Sure.
the percentage of teens that
Probably
read a book
zero.
like almost never,
Yeah.
and it actually like crossed a couple years, and it's like,
Sure.
What, reading more?
no, so people are the percentage of people who almost never read
Oh, it's going
in
up.
the
That's
U.S.
going up.
has now hit close to 50%.
But
Wow.
By teens,
but
right?
it maps to that
Yeah.
that youth oh my god trend thing
Yeah.
where it's okay. What's the career that everyone wants to be in right now? Everyone wants to be an influencer.
Influencer, yeah.
Right, and you know, it's a solo thing, right? It's not to create an influencer team, right? It's I want to be Mr. Beast. I want to be, you know, the
Yep.
I want to have like my like 20 million
Yep.
followers and be raking in like millions a day.
Live in a mansion with my friends,
You
and
know.
we're all like 19 years old, and then
Yeah.
we trash the place, and then we go around the world whenever we want, and like
You know,
we're rich and crashing Porsches.
and that's what it feels like has become like the national dream, right? Like this is what everyone wants
Yeah.
to do. It's about like money, status, influence for yourself, right?
And so like in a way, like even as I poo-poo Japan for being like so like stuck in the middle all the times, some of the value seems to be is a little bit more of a bulwark against
Well,
that.
yeah,
That's
and
like
I mean,
taken on
that's-
so much of.
That's the thing. It's not a binary statement. Like you can totally shit on a country
Yeah,
for certain
sure.
things, and also demand, you know, this
like
that.
appreciate some of the.
Yeah, and I mean that's the real problem, specifically with like Shokunin stuff. Is, yo guys, you don't have to go full digital, but like take credit cards
Yeah.
or something like
So
that.
can you split the atom?
How
What
so?
is craft and what is distribution?
That's a good question.
Right?
Um,
Where does your work end and where does the retail storefront's experience start?
Well, like, so I was on Reddit. I posted that tour in Japan video by Andrew Lee as well. And I've got like 40,000 views or something like that now.
Click
And,
below.
there's a good conversation happening. And this one statement came out by a user. I'm paraphrasing it, but basically he said like, dude, if you're a musician and if you're trying to make money as a musician, like you need to stop now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. Like, if your goal by being a musician is only to make money, then I would argue that you're at best not an artist, but you're still like a content producer. But that's not art, right? And so this guy, I was questioning him, like, hold up, are you saying that like you should never ever, in any circumstance, accept money as an artist? Or are you saying that if your goal is to make money, that's why you're doing art? Don't do that. And being able to differentiate. I don't know what those definitions
You
are.
know, the funny thing is, I think there's that exact debate happening in startup land right now.
Yeah.
Like in Silicon Valley, because like we brought in this huge new generation of like, you know, Gen Xer founders who like clearly are in it for clout and to try to get rich. And then you have all of the other people. It's like you shouldn't try to start a startup if your goal is to try to get rich, because it's a super shitty way of getting rich.
Well, okay, there's that.
Like this is
but
right.
there's
and there are the people like you should do it for the love of the game because you want to build a thing, and then there's like the purities
it's a
and like
hobby,
that.
though.
Well,
Right,
no.
if you're doing the point of business, let's not forget, is to make money.
Sure, for sure.
That's
yeah.
it.
Well,
If
you
you
know,
think
the
you're
point of
doing
this is to make
something
money, but then you know, I think going back to what you're saying, well, it's not what you're saying earlier, but you know, startups is a different class of thing, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
as a founder, right?
Yeah.
You need to love it. There needs to be something about it that you really feel that you are connected to or needs to come into the world.
Mhm.
Because if not, you're not going to make it through the tough stuff.
Yeah.
If it's just for money, go get a job, go
Yeah.
Yeah.
do something else, right?
Yeah.
But there has to be something a little bit bigger that to get you through the shit, right?
Yeah, for
so
sure.
are you really more of a religious leader?
You have to be, right?
Yeah.
I think you have to be because like without that conviction, like startups make no sense. As a founder, a startup makes no sense.
Like the missionary versus mercenary thing. The thing is, like, but I think startups have been sold as something that makes sense financially
Sure.
in terms of career ladder. But the reality is, like, I mean, it's like the bullet hole thing where the survivorship bias, where like it
Oh,
in
yeah,
fact
right,
does not
right.
make sense for most people.
I mean, it makes sense if you're employee number one.
Sure.
But for founders, co-founders, like that's a
It's a hell of a fucking.
that's a hell of a road to take, right? And,
Yeah.
and for anyone that sells potential founders on like a startup bootcamp dream, like
But again, everybody looks at like social media, and they're like, oh, these are like these people my age or slightly older than me, just like partying it up.
Sure.
Right. And people on the side is like,
And
wow.
bring this
it's
back
so
to
cringe.
2026, though. I feel like startup everywhere, definitely in Japan, is heavily focused on IT. And in a country like Japan, which does not have the chops for world-leading IT, if a startup equals IT, then what the fuck are you doing in Japan?
So there's been a shift towards like deep tech, but yeah.
But kind of what I'm
Yeah.
maybe not predicting for 2026, but like I think the biggest opportunity is again shit like this. Is it the sexiest new Google 2.0 kind of thing? No, but super low cost, easy production, outsource most of it, make a decent buck, and it's a cool product, right?
Well, Liquid Death.
Bingo, shit like that.
It's not necessarily no ambition, though.
So
Yeah.
the thing,
Right. But for me, what I see with that is not so much like my calling with shit like this, especially, is I just see inefficiency and
Sure.
lost opportunity. And yeah, that ultimately results in money. But like, why? If you're gonna do something, just sell it fucking well.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
like if you're gonna bother going through the effort, then make sure that it works.
So is 2026 the year where VC starts dying? Because I think that's actually a big driver of this like IT fixation
Oh, for sure.
like the equation of entrepreneurship with raising money and like these big rounds and then
Is that what you want to tell Jetro?
well, hey, no comment. I am also in this industry, right? And like, but I think there are starting to be more voices that are like urging caution and like a little more of a kind of thoughtful approach.
And like a holistic.
Yeah, and they're
approach.
folks in like Southeast Asia that talk about this because they just had their like sobering crunch, like bust.
So like I am farther away from the industry than you guys, but what it looks like to me is it's not that VCs are going away. It's harder to justify the salary of anyone on that team. I feel like the money still needs to be there. Could you replace it with some sort of agent GPT thing?
There are people trying, right?
'cause
Yeah.
it's not that the model doesn't work. It's like it's not worth it for me to pay you for this, and for you to come in and
Money
expect me-
managers.
And something that I've seen recently and had a few conversations over the past week about is specifically like, yes, that is totally true, but there's like a human element to it, and they don't want to fire their people, even though by every measure of success, they're falling far short of it, but they like the person
Yeah,
and want them to have a job.
yes, and like the LPs are even further away from tech than like the GPs of funds, right? Which is why they're like, okay, these people kind of know what they're. But like, no, you're right. I think we're starting to see people trying to do this. So have you heard of Boardly? Boardly AI is like this AI agent thing that like makes curated intros for people, like interestingly like through email. So it has like this huge database of everybody, putting your info and looks you up online. Boardly, and then it makes like targeted intros based on what you're interested in. And so they've started like matchmaking founders and investors directly,
Sure.
and they've as a part of this, the founder no comment on whether or not it's necessarily a good idea or not. I don't know if it's that one, but it's
I'll forward you the email.
they started raising their own fund.
Sure.
Yeah, to like just directly deploy money into some of these startups. Yeah.
I mean, because I'm gonna sound like a total idiot here because like this is not my field, but like 2 and 20 is like the classic sort of deal,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Like, do we see that changing with all this stuff, right?
No.
No. Well, no. It's like the best VC funds are really good at telling the story, and are turning into something else. They're like capital aggregators, like your
Right.
Andreessens. I mean, Lightspeed just raised like $9 billion, right? And they're doing stuff other than traditional VC, but it's like because like the capital needs to go somewhere
Yep.
to like try to find some sort of return. And so like my understanding is like a lot of these capital allocators are okay with coming up with like a lower return.
Sure.
And it's like, hey, they have the relationship, and it's like in the past nobody was ever fired for investing in McKinsey.
Sure.
And I think that's going to go on for like another decade, right? Is like nobody's gonna get fired for putting money into Andreessen or Sequoia.
As long as we don't have to market.
Yes,
But they have to though.
yes, but like market manipulation basically has become so powerful through also a lot of these VCs and whatnot are becoming the best storytellers
Right.
for capital in the space.
Right.
Like, have you ever heard of a KKR telling a good story compared to like Andreessen and YC and Sequoia? it's a different game. I think.
What are the stories coming out of Japan, VC wise?
I think we're bad at telling stories. Broadly speaking, it's by the way.
What is Incubate saying? What is Geodesic? What about WI?
I won't speak on their behalf.
Sure.
Right. I don't know if like some of the funds are necessarily saying. I don't know what they're telling their LPs, so I just won't comment. I will say though, like in terms of interesting stories, coming back to the idea of like what's Japan's story after this like last 30 years.
Yeah.
I do watch like Japanese YouTube sometimes. Have you heard of President? It's like the business publication.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like kind of.
I think it's like greasy a little bit.
Yeah, it's like slightly stiff,
Yeah.
right, and whatnot. But they actually have like a decent talk show on YouTube. And one of the recent ones was actually trying to figure out like what Japan's narrative should be.
Oh, really?
And one was like, yeah, it was actually quite thoughtful. And it was like kind of turn it's like look, if you look at Japanese history, you can actually interpret it through a completely different lens, which is like Japan's been very good throughout the ages of like taking things in from outside, absorbing all these things, and then refining them and turning them into like a part of itself and like sources of national strength and all this other stuff. And like turn the same narrative on like immigration and all these other like more contemporary issues. And look to like the previous waves of like people coming in from the outside and Japanese society being like so open-minded and all this other stuff and like turning it and so like for me it was actually a pretty good articulation of that particular a narrative that could work in a very Japanese sense told by Japanese people. Obviously, I think the unspoken part of the talk show is like, yeah, but nobody's going to tell this story publicly.
This is really because there was a conversation we were having before. We were talking about sort of imperial or Japan, right?
Yeah.
How there's a very different idea of themselves and how the rest of Asia would fall under the Japanese imperial prosperity sphere, right?
But, by the way, the talk show used that thing as the the hook.
Sure.
They actually were slightly edgy, and they were like using some of the rhetoric from like World War II. It's like, hey, like obviously Japan, fucked a lot of shit up.
Sure.
But like there was this narrative that they were building, which I've also looked in the pre-war narrative about like, hey, we should. They were the first ones to go to like the League of Nations and be like, hey, can we get rid of racial discrimination and whatnot? Like their actual behavior aside, there was this like narrative that was pushed.
But the thing that underpins all that is a sort of it's a cultural confidence, right?
Sure.
And I feel like Japan has difficulty to have these open conversations about integrating new ideas because there's so much anxiety about losing itself right now.
Yes.
Yeah, and
which I agree.
And because of this like decades of lost decade talk, right? And it's like, how do you instill a confidence that, hey man, it's okay to change, it's okay, we'll still be Japan, whatever.
I don't think that can happen with the current, not even administration, the power. I mean, Japan Inc. I think there's 700 years of history that describes exactly what, maybe not exactly, but it evolves over the years, but that can't happen with the leadership that like just historically.
But man, you're a metal guy. Why are you trying to go from the center out, man? Go from edge in, right?
Oh, for sure. It's, like that's the like. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm trying.
But it's like an alternative center of power. But it's like Japan has plenty of data points that support this thesis, right? Which is like everybody's seen those YouTube clips of like some Japanese bluegrass band, or like some like Irish tap dancing crew that's like incredibly good, right?
So this is an idea that's been bouncing around my head for a bit, which I'm glad we're on this topic.
Yeah.
So President Magazine is a good example, right?
Yeah.
And to achieve this sort of goal, right?
Sure.
Is there some way we can create a new kind of archetype and persona for people to hook onto? And
that's the goal of this channel, by the way.
But so I am proposing a kind of cosmopolitan Japanese person as an archetype, right?
Yep.
Who is this person? What are they doing, and how do they engage in the world as Japanese cosmopolitan? What are they eating? What are their foods like? How do they dress? Essentially, this is what Monocle Magazine does, right?
Yep.
So this is like Ametora 2.0.
Basically, if we can construct a whole media, storytelling. If we construct the whole media around this thing, right? It's like then can people buy into this thing? And this is how if this is a cool idea, people watch. This is how you live, right? The whole way that Popeye works, all these magazines work, right? Brutus.
No, it makes a lot of sense, right? So, by the way, there's an interesting question about like the depiction of Japan's interactions with the outside world, right? And if I think about it, there are like incredibly few pieces of media that depict like a Japanese person interacting with a international peer group as a peer. Right. Like even when it's like, oh, this is like a really internationally confident Japanese person.
Yeah.
They're like, in a suit and like shaking hands and doing like a business deal with, like Western business people and whatnot.
Yep.
Right. There's a part of it that still doesn't feel quite like they're integrated into the international scene, so to speak, right? That you see in like your Singapore's.
Yes.
Well, that's kind of on both sides too. One is from the international perspective is Japan's doing this weird shit. So like you're not on the inside. We have to kind of keep you at arm's length. And then also Japan is kind of like, oh no, we want to keep you at arm's length. And so there's like
there's some self-exoticization.
Oh, for sure.
But it's interesting. I don't remember exactly where, but recently there has been a couple of pieces of I think Japanese sci-fi.
Sure.
That like depict basically like a multi-ethnic.
I read about
Japan.
this the other day.
Yeah, I think I saw the same thing, right? Which is like you have, a Japanese person who's like, multi-ethnic background, normally interacting with other members of this like space station or like Mars base or something, that are like from different national backgrounds, and they're just like treating each other like normal people.
I'm pretty sure this is Gundam.
No, but it's like you look to the past for the future. It's like there are things like that where I think did Japan exist in Gundam though?
It did.
Which one? I'm thinking Wing, but no, but
in Wing, the original Gundam, like the UC Gundam, like Japan was there. Japan did not get wiped out.
So
I think what's more common, is like the Code Geass, like
sure. You
depiction, which is this weird like relationship with the outside world and being oppressed, but like being better.
Sure.
Anyway.
So if you guys have never seen the TV show Monarch.
Did you just say Monarch?
Monarch, sorry.
Monarch.
Come on.
The one arch.
Hey, I am English as a second language speaker.
Not an excuse. Not an excuse.
Is that an attempt to pull the Gaijin card?
So they do explore this sort of Japanese-Caucasian relationship dynamic. Have you seen the
I
show?
haven't seen it. Is it sexual?
That's your first question.
I mean, there are many people exploring that relationship.
That dynamic.
It's about
Oh my.
Godzilla, okay?
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Oh, about the butterfly.
Yeah, butterfly.
Yeah.
Okay,
Monarch.
Mothra. Sure.
Yeah.
Mothra. Wait. there's a-
Monarch is the agency.
All right.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so you have this, Japanese American raised and this sort of
Yeah.
her finding that she has another family
Sure.
Yeah.
in Japan, and then against the backdrop of Godzilla.
Okay.
Kind of nuts.
Wow.
So.
That's a curious setting.
It is a very
I
curious
like
setting.
that.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the Koreans, the South Koreans, the neighbors to the north who are actually on the south side. Whatever. And
They're kind of.
I think what's really helped them is the whole LA Korean community, right?
Sure. Yeah.
That's helped bring this idea of what a cosmopolitan Korean person could be, what they're exposed to,
Totally.
and be super normalized, accepted, generally accepted as part of a cultural leader, right?
Yep.
And it'd be super. It doesn't really exist for Japan right now.
No.
It doesn't, right? Remember like Princess Mako
Yes.
that went to New York and stuff?
It was
It's
like
kind of-
lambasted.
Like they got lambasted.
Excommunicated, right?
They could have been that.
Right.
They could have been like your Princess Diana's living up a New York life as
Right.
Japanese people as like a role model, but then
Right.
they got
So explain it for the listeners.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not the best person to talk about this, but because I don't know that much about it, right? But it's like a princess of the imperial family married a guy named Kei Komuro.
Yeah, he was like a fund manager or something. Right?
No, he was like a
No, he was
aspiring
nothing.
lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, he was going to law school at Fordham. But anyway, like, people lambasted him for, like, having a ponytail, from, like, coming from, like, a single parent household or, like, something weird like that.
Yeah.
And, like, all this stuff. And people, like, poo-pooed him, like, for, like, all this, like, stupid small things, right? And so they just decided, like, live in New York.
Sure.
And, like, they, like, follow them super closely, all this
Sure.
other stuff. But in a different, like, I think, place, right? They're a very photogenic,
Sure.
attractive-looking couple.
Yeah,
very
they were
progressive,
very good-looking couple.
and really liked each other, like,
Right.
publicly affectionate and, like,
Right.
very dynamic and all this other stuff. It's like quite literally a princess. But then instead of them being like elevated and put on a pedestal
Yeah.
as heroes, they were like really pulled down
Sure. Yeah.
as
Crabs
these
in the
like
bucket?
villains.
Crabs and bucket.
Yeah.
But also because they're so tied to the
Establishment.
not
is it?
the imperial. It's part of the imperial family, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you're going to be conservative right wing, like that's
But the funny thing is that the imperial family itself is like pretty progressive.
yeah.
Super, I love
Super
them.
progressive,
They're great.
and they
I
like
love
say
them.
they try to like navigate where they can,
Sure.
and like it's like her mom was like a Harvard Kennedy School grad or something
Sure.
like that, right? And like multilingual, former diplomat,
Sure.
yeah. And they try to do like good public diplomacy.
But yes, but
Is there a way to appeal to the?
Sponsors?
It's very interesting. It's like
Oh yeah, are they going to sponsor us? Will the imperial?
hey,
family-
Just
why
give us
not
talking
try-
points. We'll
Yeah.
drive it home.
But it's like Japan has all the right pieces, right, and all these different. They're just not brought together into like coherent like power center.
And
Sure.
there's
Yeah.
like I don't know if I want to call it self-destructive or even suicidal. Although that's well
Foot enough?
documented. Yeah, like really hardcore of like
like up to your ankle.
Yeah, like success is a marker of failure or something like. And if somebody or a
Oh.
couple or an organization, unless it's the Zybots, and then they're allowed to do it, right? But if anybody else like stands up and kind of puffs their chest out like with pride of what they accomplished,
Damn bucket.
yeah, damn fucking bucket, right?
I mean, Shohei Ohtani, though, like broadly hailed. Why?
That
he the
is
sports
that is
hero?
because he's kind of a nobody. He's not,
Yeah.
as far as I know, he doesn't come from like, and he's from Sendai. He's Miyagi. He's Toho.
Because he's kind of an underdog story, right? And that's why people like are.
No, I mean he's been a star for a long time. My impression of him is he seems almost like personalityless.
Sure.
Like he doesn't buck any
he loves
he-
he loves
trends.
I
or
feel like he's a-
expectations.
he loves his dog very much.
Yeah, that's like the extent of it.
Yeah.
And his wife like you buys Zara
Yeah.
or something like that. And, like that's about it.
What's the word that everybody describes
It's like
Epstein
bulky.
as? He's like a construct.
Yeah.
Oh, like not a real guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shohei, he does
Shohei,
feel like
they
a
were
construct.
oh no, he loves his dog.
Yeah.
Go love it. He loves his dog. News, media, press.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to
And
know
he was
this
like,
now.
Yeah.
And here's his marriage. And here's this weird gambling thing that he didn't do, but maybe he
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
And all
So you
this
think
stuff.
it's managed?
Well, the thing,
Yeah,
It's super managed.
Right.
He's so good probably because he spends all his time training, right? And he doesn't probably have enough space in his life for the faculty to do all his other personalities.
So
Also,
is he a useful idiot?
I think so. He does kind of have that
So,
little bit
I
of
mean,
like
is
a
it just
low
athlete?
IQ smile.
So I use Otani quite a bit as a reference point for how you can take someone from Japan, move them across the ocean, and boom, they're sort of free.
Yeah.
The other example I have is Yuki from Figma. If you guys use
Oh yeah,
Figma.
yeah,
Tsunoda?
Yamashita, yeah.
Huh?
like Red Bull. You keep,
So
Not Red Bull,
Yuki
Yamashita.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I keep forgetting his name.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, Yuki.
Kobe, Harvard, Google, Uber. Now the chief product officer of Figma.
Oh, but not.
He's relatively quiet. but-
I like that.
but I think the issue with these guys is they're not culture makers, right? They're not out.
True.
They're not doing like they're not like Lewis Hamilton for F1. Where he's not like they're not like
Yeah.
going to the Met Gala. They're not like showing up in like
Not yet.
editorials. But
Well, Yuki's like a Silicon Valley guy, though.
Yeah.
He's like he has not involved himself, other than like out of personal interest, with Japan.
He
Right.
could.
He
Is he
could.
American-born
He could be
Japanese?
an LP. No,
He-
he's Kobe.
Oh, he's
but
Korean?
I think he's pretty
He's like
Americanized,
acclimatized.
right?
Right.
Like
I
I,
mean,
said, Google, Uber.
For folks who go to like undergrad in the States and they stay there for like 10 years, you're
Sure.
Well, I mean,
pretty
that's- yeah, so, like,
American,
that's-
right?
let's dive into like the weird side of art for a moment. Of like, I saw this movie called Pinocchio's. What is it? Like 967. I feel like Alvin, you might know
9,
this one.
6,
And he's got like a
Sorry,
wait 6-7. And there was, I would say, there's definitely a period leading up to it, but probably from like 1985, definitely until late 90s, maybe like a 10-year period in which there was a lot of really transgressive art. Like very, honestly, most of it's not even very good, but it is slap in the face, look at me, stand out, unique, all of these fucking things. And there's none of that today.
Is that going to be what's for next year though?
Well, I mean, I kind of feel that's where, called, version 2.0 or whatever. That's what, that maybe like went, in my opinion, a lot of it went just like way too far. Not like, oh, this is distasteful, but just like really.
I mean, have you seen Yoko Ono's art?
Oh, dude, she's garbage. She's so bad. I've seen her live, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Right, but I think that's maybe like the punk rock of 2026 or in the coming years is, okay, don't go that far, but go a little bit further outside of Tokyo and do that stuff that we were talking about earlier in this conversation, which is like, okay, the big business, that's here, but like the interesting stuff and the discovery is where, because basically there's nothing new under the sun of Tokyo.
So what's the resolution for 2026?
Should we try to just curate all the super interesting, genuinely interesting things in Japan and like put it out there?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's called
Like-
a subscription box.
Or that, but also just put on like a graphically interesting website.
I think that'd be
Oh,
super
yeah.
cool.
like
I think
all
if
the
we
dots
connect
and stories.
this whole universe, right?
Yeah.
Like from food, fashion to like companies, like there must be a through line here, right?
Yeah.
And package a lifestyle for someone essentially.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like this is all the cool stuff and stuff that we think is actually transformative and important, and this is a life you could lead, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, the nice thing too is so much of it is untapped.
Yes. No, I agree so much with that, right? Which is like, I mean, have you ever had the experience when you're talking to somebody from here and they're like, oh, Japan has nothing. Like, why are you even
Yeah,
here, right?
You mean
Or it's like-
Japanese people?
yeah, exactly. I mean, people from here, right? Like, no, and they're like, oh, they get really disappointed / really like, there's nothing here. For me, like, I mean, the purpose of doing this myself is like to show to myself that there is stuff. I don't mean like your typical like secret travel guide. You
Yeah,
know, so
right.
there are people doing that, and a lot of them actually doing that quite well. But I mean, like actually interesting products and from like a business concept angle, right? That has broader exportability.
Well, yeah, and I think Japan's got, it's weird. There's like obviously a long-standing history of like tinkerer culture.
Yeah.
And not that much new stuff.
Yes.
And that's the weird thing is I feel like, especially with IT, especially with like
Yeah.
VC,
Yeah.
kind of demands new things. Doesn't
Yes.
necessarily talk about like tinkering with other shit. And I'm just thinking of this now, so I definitely haven't fleshed it out. But like, again, like kombucha stuff, dude, it's a land of green tea. Just make a different version of green tea. The product already exists.
Oh, I still see people like abroad being like, oh, ceremonial matcha, like
Yeah.
ceremonial grade matcha.
Yeah,
right.
I've
Even
heard
like
that
some
one.
like
Yeah.
hot
Didn't
nootropics company.
Steven, what's his name,
So we
invest?
put ceremonial grade
But
matcha.
what does that even fucking mean?
Yeah, no, it's totally meaningless. Like in
And
Japan,
here it is as a
right?
latte. Here you go.
Yeah, right. It's your fucking ceremony right
Yeah.
here. But I mean, that's what I think is the discovery.
So
Yeah.
jumping on this, right? In Bangkok, bubble tea was not a big thing.
Yeah.
But coffee was a really big deal, right? Especially like customized coffees and the way people drink bubble tea. And the big trend was this thing called dirty coffee, right?
Oh.
And dirty coffee is basically like it's a ristretto. It's like a really heavy espresso shot over a heavy cream milk, right?
All right.
It looks super pretty because you see it drip down. You know, people they did all sorts of different versions. They have one called Serial Killer, which is cereal milk. You know, it's like bubble tea, just like coffee, right?
Sure.
And do you know where dirty coffee was invented?
Ireland?
Here.
Barry Pond Espresso in Shimakazawa, like 10 years ago.
Oh, really?
It was like this guy's signature drink. this guy is an espresso nerd, right? You watch him on like coffee documentaries. He's like, espresso is like sex. He's like so deep. He's so dialed in.
The
And,
bottomless drip.
right, but and basically this was like his idea. Like this is like the perfect expression of these kind of ideas, right?
Yeah.
And it never went anywhere in Japan.
Yeah.
Except you go to Bangkok and you're like, look at this,
Right.
look at this. This is such a sick idea.
Yeah.
Here's how we can like make a whole thing out of this because it's
Yeah,
good
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's fun and it's like, and you know, okay, why didn't this take off here? This is such a cool idea, right?
Isn't that maybe a thing of like Japan, for whatever reason, Japan just like isn't really good at accepting its domestic ideas, good or
But-
bad.
But that's
what-
every country, though.
But
That's true. Like,
Okay.
you won't be a
but
prophet
it's
in
a
your own
good
country.
place to go have a weird idea.
and
And
then
then import it.
and then
Yeah.
export and then
Or
re-import.
sorry, export it. Yeah.
export.
Yeah, and there's export and then re-import it.
Yeah.
And then somehow it's accepted in 10 years later.
That's
Yeah.
the whole play, right? Because like Blue Bottle, Blue Bottle is basically a Japanese Kisaten inspired, right? James Freeman came here and like Kisatens are great,
I can sell that.
and they basically built the thing and sold it back to Japan, right? It's
Yeah.
like the same thing, and there's a whole history of just
Ooh, there's like a boot camp for that.
Has anyone done karage food trucks in the U.S.?
I'm sure.
I haven't seen
That
any.
actually reminds me of one of my least favorite anecdotes for metal bands coming over here. There's a metal band from Seattle that we booked for a few shows, and they were so scared of Japanese food, including karaage.
Because
Oh, come on.
They just
It
didn't.
sounds so not metal.
I know. I know.
Oh,
They-
fried
they-
chicken.
They
Oh.
only ate KFC. That was it. They
Okay, I
only
hate
ate
those
KFC.
kinds of American.
Get out of here. Get out of
I have met them.
have you
I've
not met your clients?
It was a festival.
I knew somebody once who like came to me and was like, Taiwan is terrible because they don't have McDonald's in the airport.
Wow.
I'm just like,
That's a specific.
yeah, like an American. It's like the most American. It's like, are you serious? Like, it's like we couldn't find McDonald's to eat in the airport. It's like, how about the other food? It's like that's like
Well, but I mean,
internationally
that's a nice thing
recognized.
about Japan too, though. Of like, honestly, it is high culture, high context, and there's a bunch of weird food
So,
too.
there is destruction stuff here, which gives it quality, right? But not the room to explore.
Yeah.
And outside Japan has room to explore, right?
Right.
And then I guess how do you build this flywheel?
I'm telling you, it's all about exporting.
Because Family Mart in Taipei was amazing.
Sure.
They had
yeah.
a whole fresh juice section.
Sure.
They-
I
they-
actually
they
did
pulled-
not.
Yeah.
I did not like their onigiri.
Okay, Taiwan. Yeah, I don't think it's as good as Japan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I'm not.
No offense.
I
No
was just
offense.
gonna say, I loved it. I had a pulled pork floss onigiri.
I think some of the other things that they carry are interesting and like concepts that should be brought back to Japan.
Yeah.
But like the baseline food quality, I think in Japan is better for like
Oh,
the,
for sure.
Okay,
the
so
average bentos and the average.
So,
onigiris and stuff.
my take on this is, if you go to Korean konbini,
Yeah.
they have all the ready-to-go kimbap and onigiris as well.
Yep.
It tastes like garbage, right?
Okay, same thing in like Southeast Asia. I cannot eat the onigiris in like
I'll-
Singaporean
I'll
7
tell you
Elevens.
why.
They're so bad.
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
It's a rice processing issue.
Yep.
Yes.
I was-
It's not the quality of the rice. In Japan, there's a way to treat the rice to be shelf stable
Yeah.
and stay with the right hydration and texture. Why those onigiris taste wrong is they're drier
Yep.
And
they
they're
don't-
like hard
and
and,
harder.
like sometimes they're cold and they're cold and then you're like, oh,
so
this is wrong.
so basically they're held at the wrong temperature. Plus they're not using whatever industrial chemical process
Yeah.
they're using here to keep them like puchi puchi.
And
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
can't they replicate that? What's
Yeah,
the
like
thing?
even inside Asia, which is
Yeah.
crazy to me.
What's
right?
happening there?
It's probably a machine. If you
But
want
wouldn't
these
they
shows,
recognize these differences?
I don't.
Especially for a
I
franchise
think
owner.
they should. Right? Well, I guess maybe well the
Or
average
franchisor,
franchise
sorry.
owner,
No, sorry. The franchisor should be maintaining
Yes.
a level of quality.
but are they like they don't know or they don't care enough?
Well, it comes down to tasting because unless you have someone in that part of the business who is coming from a taste craft specialization, right? That's not what you're tasting. That's not what you're checking for. You're not checking for like the mouthfeel precisely.
But the thing is, like Japan can make so much money if they just went and relaunched onigiri like abroad, even just across Asia, and packaged it as like the real, not the real Japanese onigiri,
Sure.
but the relaunch of the onigiri as like this is the
I've
legit.
heard a number of
high quality
failure
thing.
stories about this, especially in Australia.
Okay.
People, obviously not Southeast Asia, but yeah, the onigiri in the international market seems to be like a really difficult one to crack.
I mean, I think they do really well in at least places like Taiwan.
Yeah.
And like, and like
Why is it
Hong
difficult?
Kong, Singapore.
So
I don't
That
Yeah,
know.
so big. Yeah.
I mean, what? Like, Japan's particularly proud of its rice culture.
Yeah.
That's not, as far as I know, that's like not as strong in other, especially like.
Japan is very proud of their rice, which is why they're cutting down the number of like rice farms.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. Isn't
yeah.
that
What was it?
typical?
And people are
Another
eating less.
contradiction.
Yeah.
And they had to go as far as like import Taiwanese rice.
Yeah,
like
right.
last year.
It's absurd.
And they're like, oh, it's actually
And
about,
Vietnamese,
it's
but
actually,
through China.
Yeah, but they're like, oh, it's actually about as good if
Yeah.
you process it the same
Yeah.
way. Oh no!
Yeah.
Illusion
Yeah.
of superiority
Yeah.
smashed, right? But
Yeah, I don't know why it's hard to crack, but it's taken off enough in Taiwan anyway that like they're
So
only.
the-
I grew up eating onigiri for
Yeah, so,
decades,
like-
like in
do
Taiwan.
Do we have a recap
right?
for 2026?
Oh, God.
Recap?
Yeah.
For 25 or
2025 and 2026.
25? Oh, what is the recap for?
Oh, for
this
me, it's
past
just like
year.
all major business operations are completely fucked, and don't try to fix it. Build something outside. That's my recap.
2025 recap. Tried about everything I could think of to make Japan work and find opportunities here. Conclusion:
TBD.
need to look outside for an angle back into this place.
Onigiri.
I mean, I think there are other angles as well. I mean, that's my honest takeaway from this past year, is like figure out this insider outsider thing, because I think everything that's like purely inside, I don't want to touch, and I don't think I'm a fit for /
Nope.
I don't think that's where the opportunities are for me.
I honestly, I think playing inside here, you have to be Japanese or get out.
Yeah,
And that,
and even then, I'd say I don't know if the outcomes are worth it. Like even if I'm thinking that even if I were Japanese,
yeah.
I'm just like, there's the angle to which I just this refrain over the past year for me has been like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
well,
I
the
like that
game's
one.
stupid. So, like, the game is clearly stupid. So like, and I think the prizes are also stupid. Like, what do you win out of? It's like you work, bust your ass, and you got like a Nissan salary,
Yeah,
and
right.
like you still have to eat shit. Like,
You know what the game is? It's
unclear.
You're like making mochi,
yeah.
making sure your hand doesn't get like.
Get like yeah, it's like and then you have one misstep, and then you're gonna like and then grind for 20 years for like
Yeah.
For what?
an okay salary. I don't know.
Yeah.
Respect.
Well,
Respect. From
Join my
people who I don't
experiment of
care.
trying to use Tokyo Japan as a cultural accelerator for other
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
My recap for 2025 is kind of really shitty. I'm glad we're moving past SDGs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so
Yes.
with you.
Yes.
Yes.
No
Sick
more
of that.
SDGs.
Other
no
good
more
things.
What?
Where's your pin?
I know, right? I put it away.
Oh, those are. God, gosh.
I should make.
So
yeah,
I'm so glad we have something better to talk about that's more interesting and bigger and like.
Remember when we had all the oil executives at the SDG
Yeah.
pins
Yeah.
at conferences?
Yeah.
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 Good times.
Yeah. I'm
Pre-
glad that like,
pre-pandemic.
I'm glad that phase is over. I'm so glad because there's other stuff to talk about now.
Yeah.
And that is.
AI, like tech, proper tech, right? Like how to build stuff, build new stuff.
I
versus
am.
stuff that
I am
feels
a little
like-
bit worried though that AI, at least in Japan, is starting to be deployed kind of like how SDGs.
I think how it's deployed doesn't
That
matter.
sounds
but,
like
but,
a
but
vanilla
I think
disease.
for
Well, yeah, I always thought the same. I always thought the same, but not in actually what AI is, but the way
It's
that
getting
it's
deployed.
the narrative.
Sure.
I think for all the SEC stuff, not that the goals are wrong. It's just it falls. Every time I see SEC stuff in Japan, it becomes kind of like an austerity type of thing.
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
Right?
yeah.
How do you limit your stuff? How do you? It's very like this is.
It's like a European degrowth
Right.
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
And it's like this is super.
And it's like not a failure mindset, but like a
It's a scarcity mindset.
yeah, it's a scarcity.
Yeah,
it,
it's not
it,
like-
it validates this lost generation stuff. It's okay to degrowth because it's
because there's no money.
Yeah.
No, fucking grow.
So
Yeah.
what's 2026 then?
I think this stuff that we're talking about, right? I think it's the death that's open internet. I think it's more. I think it's going to be the revitalization of subculture, which
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about.
Sure. Yep.
Right, and I think it's not it's going to be this temporary little phase, but I think in this moment we're going to have like different kinds of dialogue and insights, which is pretty exciting.
So maybe that's a bull case for Japan, right? Because like Japan thrived much more in the world of subcultures than it did in the world of open internet.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that makes
Yeah.
sense too, doesn't it? In the sense that Japan is again like the shokunin mindset sort of thing of like rules and structure and processes, and open internet is everything all at once,
also
and there can't be processing of
It can't
that
be,
much.
and
But if
everything-
you split it up into subcultures,
But everything that people value from Japan comes from a subculture generation, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
not open internet.
Right.
That's true, and like those
So-
people are older now,
Right.
right?
So
Which
yeah,
is-
without that, if we're coming to this kind of model, then maybe it's like, oh, people are like, I get how this works because it's all this stuff that maybe the world was confusing back then, but now everything now there's clarity. I know how to use my skills and operate
Yeah.
and do all this stuff, right? And bull case, who knows, right? But
Any black swans? Surprise cases?
war.
I don't know if that's a black swan.
Gray.
Are we
It's
expecting?
like pretty light gray.
I think it'd still be a black swan. I mean, insofar as we're talking like Pacific Rim, Taiwan Strait stuff, it's.
So,
I think it's still unlikely, personally.
Unlikely.
Unlikely.
Inevitable?
I don't think it's inevitable.
So I'm so curious. Sorry, I don't know if we're wrapping up.
Sure.
I'm so curious your take about that. I loved the street art and vandalism that was happening in Taipei.
Sure.
It was so unhinged. Like people were making stickers of like a cat, basically like a dorky cat, like meme or something.
Why not?
You
Classic.
missed grad school, don't you? No, I remember.
But it's like this kind of stuff where people they had this like packaged like smoked sour plum drink,
Yep.
and the artwork on it was like someone's dog, but it felt like because of this ongoing existential threat of their existence, where the sort of visual aesthetic has moved to is this sort of almost nihilistic,
Sure.
where
Yep.
it's like, hey, let's just do really weird shit because we don't care. We might not be here tomorrow.
But by the way, like Taiwan is like low key getting good at some of the stuff that people know Japan for.
Yes.
Like these like hole in the walls and like really interesting concepts. It's like but like better at English language / multilingual storytelling
Yes.
in Instagram.
Yes.
But it's like if you go and like look on Instagram and look at all these like Taiwan restaurant kind of channels and review
Yeah.
things, they're pretty incredible.
So
And they're like really interesting.
I went to
concepts.
this
Yeah.
like super hip hot pot place, right? And I guess it's like really famous. They like were into like Showa Taiwan kids.
Yeah.
Their ceiling lights were like printed of like koi
Yeah.
and like blue. It was like so kitschy and like it was chromed out.
Yeah.
And it was like the tackiest. Like, imagine your memories of like early '90s Taipei, right?
Sure.
Where it was like bubble booming and everything
Sure.
was so tacky, but
Yeah.
that as like a aesthetic.
Yeah.
And we're thinking like this is really cool, right?
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
really really cool.
Yeah.
And you look at the graphic design, and it's like this is Japanese, but it's not.
Yeah.
Like all their tea packaging is so cool.
Yep.
Right? You see all the Japanese stuff who are like leaning to like traditional tea stuff. You look at Taiwanese tea packaging,
Yeah.
and it's like it's like a Pinterest board, right?
Yep.
Everything is gorgeous,
Yeah.
and it's like wow, like there is a like Taiwan is like this tour de force right now. I think of like food and design.
It's like coming in its own. I mean, you see sparks of it in then places like Vietnam as well.
Yes.
In some of these circles. The rest of Asia, like they're the interesting thing again is all of them have looked into Japan, or at least on some have been influenced. But like looked to Japan for inspiration here. Yeah.
So speaking of Asia, I met two really amazing creative crews. One was this indie publisher
Sure.
from Indonesia. Another was a furniture maker from Design Tide.
Yeah.
And they're making amazing like sheet metal, super cool stuff, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've asked them like, where do you guys? Are you guys in Jakarta? Like, no, we're from this town called Bandung.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. That's where all the art and design schools are. So like Bandung, Indonesia, is actually like this nexus of creativity,
Yep.
art, and it's like okay, like something's definitely coming out there soon, right? Because it's like
For sure.
there's density, there's critical mass. I guess that's where all the anime,
Yeah.
anime is training all these people to be like production level world class artists,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So it's like okay, something's gonna happen, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I want to know. It's like I think Mori Art Museum actually exhibited some artists from Bandung at some point. But yeah, they're very good.
It's
Cool.
That's a wrap.
Is that a wrap?